Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're diving into sources about something, well, a bit different for your desk setup. We're talking about the Fractal Design North PC case,
hmm
specifically the charcoal black version. You know, the one with the walnut front and the glass side panel.
Right. And our goal here is to really unpack what this review says makes this case, well, stand out. It's not just about holding parts, is it? The source suggests it's trying to be high performance and almost like furniture.
Exactly, furniture, yeah.
Oh.
Can a PC case really pull that off? Let's dig into what the source material tells us. So first impressions, the look. The review makes it pretty clear, like right off the bat, this isn't your average gaming box.
Not at all. The big thing is that contrast, isn't it? You've got the dark tempered glass, very sleek, and then boom, this real wood walnut
Yeah,
front.
that would.
Uh.
The review calls it a subtle nod to high-end furniture. I can see that. It's sort of blending that, modern, clean look with something warmer, more organic.
It feels intentional, like it's designed to actually fit in a living room, not just be tolerated under a desk somewhere.
Which is aiming higher, really. The idea of it being a conversation piece, something that doesn't stick out like a sore thumb, that's a different goal.
Absolutely. And that focus on aesthetics seems to carry over into the build quality, which the review gets into next, like the tempered glass panel.
Okay, what about it?
Well, it's uniformly dark, tinted, so it kind of helps show off the good stuff inside, but maybe hide some less tidy cables, perhaps.
Right. And how does it feel? Is it flimsy?
No, the review notes it feels robust, like no creaks or wobbles. That suggests they paid attention to more just how it looks.
Okay.
And get this, the attachment mechanism. It's got these sturdy tool-less latches. They apparently snap in really firmly. The reviewer actually said taking it off and putting it back on was a dawdle.
A dawdle. Okay, that's telling. Means it's not frustrating to work with. What about the wood front itself? Is it like real wood or just a look-alike?
No, the source says it's surprisingly light but feels solid. And it's a genuine wood finish, not, a vinyl wrap. You can apparently feel a subtle grain.
Interesting.
It creates this nice contrast, doesn't it? The warmth of the wood against the cool steel frame really reinforces that design idea.
Yeah.
And this sort of tactile quality feel seems to extend to actually building a PC inside it. The review describes the experience as feeling almost luxurious.
Luxurious. Building a PC, that's not a word you hear often in this context. What makes it feel that way?
What's the details, apparently?
Right.
Like screw holes that actually line up properly, which, isn't always guaranteed.
Oh, yeah, tell me about it.
But also things like the thumb screws. On the PSU shroud, the side panels, they've got this knurled finish so they're easy to grip. Little things, but they add up,
Yeah, those details matter.
Even the tempered glass, while having some heft, is mentioned as being manageable, so you're maybe less terrified of dropping it during the build. And they point out silicone grommets on every cable pass-through.
Oh, nice. So it protects the wires.
Protects the wires, yes, but also just looks more polished.
Yeah.
Circles back to that whole aesthetic focus, even in the functional bits.
Oh.
Okay, so it looks good, feels solid, seems nice to build in. But performance, what about airflow? That wood front seems like it might be an issue.
Yeah, that was my first thought, too. Does the wood just block everything? But
Yeah.
the source says they designed around it using narrow gaps along the sides for air intake. So it's not totally sealed.
Right, and it comes with fans. 2 pre-installed 140mm Aspect PWM fans.
Okay, PWM. And where are they placed?
Standard sort of layout, front intake, top exhaust.
And what's the verdict on those fans? Are they any good or just basic throw-ins?
The review suggests they're actually pretty good, noticeably quieter than a lot of stock fans. Apparently they have low noise bearings, a gentle blade curve. The key takeaway was under load, they emit a whisper rather than a howl.
A whisper. Okay, that's a big deal if this case is meant to be out in the open, not hidden away. Good for streamers, creators, just sanity.
Exactly. And if you do need more cooling power, the support seems decent. You can fit up to a 360mm radiator in the front, 240 up top, and a 140 at the back.
So plenty of options for liquid cooling then.
Yeah, the review basically says thermal performance is more than adequate for most air or liquid cooling setups. Suggests the side intake design actually works pretty well.
Okay. And dust, the eternal enemy.
Seems standard, but well done. Magnetic filter on the top panel, easy to pop off and clean. And a slide-out filter for the power supply intake underneath. Pretty straightforward.
Good. Okay, what about hiding the mess? Cable management.
Gets high marks here too, apparently. The source notes there's a good amount of room behind the motherboard tray, 25mm, which is pretty generous for tucking cables away.
Nice. Any help with tying them down?
Yep, cable anchors are provided. And the PSU shroud gets a mention, too. It covers the whole bottom section.
Ah, that makes a huge difference for a clean look, doesn't it? Hides the power supply and all the extra cables down there, puts the focus on your GPU and cooler.
Exactly. So even if you're doing a more complex build, maybe custom water cooling or a big AIO radiator, you can keep that bottom area looking neat.
Makes sense. What about storage drives? Still need places for SSDs and maybe even old school hard drives.
Seems pretty flexible. Mounts for up to 4 2.5-inch drives, so SSDs mainly, and 2 3.5-inch drives.
That covers most people, I think. Is there any
Well,
flexibility there?
Yeah, the review mentions you can actually take out the 3.5-inch cages if you don't need them. And you could potentially use that space for like extra fans or maybe radiator mounting.
Oh, okay. So you can adapt it a bit depending on whether you prioritize storage or cooling. Good to know. All right, let's talk front panel, the I/O. What ports do you get easy access to?
The sourceless 1 USB Type-C,
Good. Essential now.
2 USB 3.0 Type-A ports, and then separate headphone and mic jacks. Standard HD audio.
And how do they look? Integrated well.
Yeah, they apparently sit flush with the wood panel, so it keeps that clean look going. That USB-C up front is super handy, isn't it? Fast charging, external SSDs, saves reaching around the back. Definitely. Very convenient.
Okay, so it sounds pretty great overall, but the review must have mentioned some downsides, right? Nothing's perfect. What's the main potential trade-off?
Yeah, it circles back to that wood front panel. While it's key to the whole look, the review does state that it slightly limits the absolute maximum airflow you could get compared to, say, a case with a completely mesh front.
Okay. So if you're pushing crazy overclocks, really maxing out your components constantly, you might see slightly higher temps.
That's essentially the idea presented, but the review immediately follows up by saying for typical use like everyday gaming, productivity work, the difference is likely minimal.
So for most people, it's probably not a practical issue. You're trading maybe a couple of degrees at the extreme edge for a significant gain in, well, style and quiet operation.
That seems to be the conclusion, yeah.
Yeah.
That the trade-off is worth it for the target user.
Any other practical details mentioned? Weight, feet.
Oh, yeah. Weight is around 17 kilos when fully built out. So not super light, but the review says it doesn't feel unwieldy, got solid rubber feet to keep it in place. Oh, and a neat little touch guiding slots on the top panel you could maybe use to rest a headset.
Huh. Small detail, but thoughtful.
Yeah, another one of those user experience things.
So if you pull all that together from the review, what's the final summary? How does it position the Fractal Design North?
It really frames it as a perfect blend of form and function. A statement piece is the term used. The argument is that it achieves this look without really compromising performance in a meaningful way for the people it's aimed at.
And the key strengths that get called out again.
Things like the thoughtful cable management, those quiet fans we talked about, the USB-C port, versatile cooling options, and just the overall solid build quality.
Okay. And who is this case ideally for, according to the source?
Described as any gamer or creative professional seeking a quiet, stylish, and well-built case. Pretty broad, but emphasizes those specific qualities.
And the final recommendation.
Basically, if you value that sophisticated look, that integration into your living space, more than squeezing out every last bit of raw airflow potential, then the review suggests this case deserves a top spot on your shortlist.
Okay. So wrapping up this deep dive into the review, it really does paint a picture of the Fractal Design North as something more ambitious than just a computer box. It's aiming to be part of your room's decor. We've seen how it tries to balance that unique wood and glass aesthetic with a solid build, quiet running, and features that seem genuinely useful for building and daily use.
And while, yeah, there's that small caveat about maximum airflow versus a full mesh case, the source strongly implies that for the intended user, the benefits in style and acoustics likely outweigh that minor compromise.
It really makes you think, doesn't it, about how our tech is evolving. It's not just about speeds and feeds anymore. This idea of designing tech, like a PC case, to actually look good in our homes,
Yeah.
does that resonate with you? Is that something you look for?